What if I told you that the cleaning product industry has been robbing you blind for decades? Every time you scrub a burnt pot for 40 minutes, every time you throw away a perfectly good pan because the food is welded to the bottom, every time you spend $15 on a bottle of heavy-duty kitchen degreaser that barely works, you are putting money directly into the pockets of companies that already know the real solution. And the real solution costs exactly $1. One single dollar. That is it. Today I am going to show you something that professional kitchen cleaners, restaurant owners, and cookware companies desperately do not want you to see. You're going to learn how to remove the most stubborn, blackened, cemented, burnt food from any pot or pan in minutes. No scrubbing, no expensive sprays, no ruined nails, no destroyed cookware. And the last tip I share at the end of this video, it is going to completely change the way you think about your kitchen forever. Stay until the end. You know that feeling. You walk away from the stove for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, and you come back to a disaster. The rice is welded to the bottom of the pot. The pasta sauce has turned into black cement on your favorite saucepan. The eggs look like they have been fossilized directly onto your pan. And now begins the real nightmare. You fill it with water and soap, and you scrub, and 20 minutes later your arm is tired, your sponge is destroyed, and the burnt food has not moved even 1 millimeter. So you try soaking it overnight. You come back in the morning full of hope. You scrub again, still stuck. So now you go to the store and you spend $12, $15, sometimes even $18 on a bottle of heavy-duty burnt food remover. You spray it, you wait, you scrub again. Maybe it helps a little, maybe it does not. And the companies that make these products are absolutely counting on you to keep doing this every single week. The global household cleaning products market is worth over $30 billion. $30 billion. And a huge portion of that money comes from people exactly like you buying products for problems that have a $1 solution sitting in their kitchen cupboard right now. Restaurants pay professional cleaning services $200 to $500 per visit just to deal with burnt cookware. Home cooks throw away pots and pans worth $80, $120, even $300 because they think the damage is permanent. Families buy new cookware sets every 2 or 3 years because their old ones look destroyed. All of this money, all of this waste, because of a secret that was quietly buried a very long time ago. Here is what they never wanted you to find out. Back in the 1950s and 1960s, as the American consumer economy was exploding, chemical cleaning companies were investing enormous amounts of money into research. Not research to find the best solution, research to find the most profitable solution. Because here's the thing about baking soda. It is a naturally occurring mineral compound called sodium bicarbonate. It has been mined and used for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians used it. It cannot be patented. Nobody owns it. Nobody can charge you $15 for a tiny bottle of it and make you feel like you need their special formula. So when these companies discovered in their own internal research just how devastatingly effective sodium bicarbonate was against burnt organic material, they faced a choice. Publish the findings and lose billions in future product sales. Or quietly shelve the research and build an entire industry around making you dependent on their expensive alternatives. They chose the money. They always choose the money. Companies like the early detergent giants spent millions in the 1960s and 1970s on advertising campaigns specifically designed to make you associate cleaning power with foam, with chemicals, with strong smells. If it does not foam aggressively, it is not working. If it does not smell like industrial chemicals, it is not strong enough. They manufactured an entire belief system inside your head, and it worked beautifully for them. Only a small percentage of people ever discovered the truth. The people who did, they stopped buying expensive cleaners almost entirely. And now you're about to become one of them. What I am about to show you has been quietly passed down through generations of professional cooks, old-school homemakers, and restaurant workers who learned the hard way that the cheapest solution is almost always the most powerful one. So what makes baking soda so extraordinarily powerful against burnt food? Here is the simple science. Burnt food is essentially carbonized organic material. When food burns onto a surface, it undergoes a chemical transformation. The sugars, proteins, and fats in the food break down and bond aggressively to the metal surface of your pot or pan. This is why scrubbing does almost nothing. You are trying to break a chemical bond with physical force. It does not work efficiently. Baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate, is a mild alkali. When it comes into contact with the acidic burnt residue on your pan, it triggers a chemical reaction that actually breaks those bonds at the molecular level. It does not just sit on top of the mess. It works underneath it. It gets between the burnt layer and the metal surface and lifts it away. When you add water and heat, the reaction becomes even more powerful. The sodium bicarbonate releases carbon dioxide gas. That gas creates microscopic pressure between the burnt food layer and the pan surface. It is essentially pushing the burnt food off from underneath Professional cleaning products that cost $15 to $18 a bottle use a far harsher version of this same basic alkaline reaction. But they add chemicals that can damage your cookware over time, leave residue that you cook your food in, and cost you a fortune. A 500-gram box of pure baking soda costs between $1 and $2 at any grocery store. That same box contains enough cleaning power to handle dozens and dozens of burnt pots. The math is not even close. A restaurant that switches entirely to baking soda cleaning methods saves an average of $150 to $300 per month on cleaning supplies alone. Now imagine what that means for your household budget over a year. Here's exactly how you do this and get perfect results every single time. First, do not panic and do not scrub. The moment you see a badly burnt pot, step away from the scrubbing pad. Scrubbing at this stage damages your cookware and does almost nothing to the burnt food. Simply remove whatever food you can with a wooden spoon or spatula and leave the pot alone for a moment. Then add water to the pot. You want enough water to completely cover all the burnt areas. For a standard medium-sized pot, this is usually about 2 to 3 cups of water. Make sure every single burnt patch is submerged. Next, add your baking soda. For a medium pot, add 2 to 3 heaped tablespoons of baking soda directly into the water. You will see it begin to fizz slightly. This is exactly what you want. This is the alkaline reaction beginning. Stir it gently with a wooden spoon just to distribute it. Then place the pot back on the stove and bring the water to a gentle boil. Not a raging boil, a steady, gentle simmer. This is important. The heat is what activates the full power of the sodium bicarbonate and accelerates the bond-breaking reaction beneath the burnt layer. Keep it at this gentle simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. As it simmers, you will start to see something incredible. The burnt food will begin to lift. You will actually see it peeling away from the sides and bottom of the pot on its own. Do not touch it yet. Let the process complete. After 15 minutes, remove the pot from the heat and let it cool down for 5 to 10 minutes. Never pour cold water into a hot pot, as this can warp the metal, especially with thinner cookware. Once it is cooled enough to handle safely, take a regular non-scratch sponge or a wooden spoon and simply push the burnt residue. It will slide off almost effortlessly. For extremely severe burnt cases, for the kind of damage that looks truly beyond saving, repeat the process one more time. Add fresh water, add 2 more tablespoons of baking soda, bring it to a simmer again, and let it work. Even the most catastrophic burnt pots almost always surrender completely by the second round. Finally, wash the pot normally with dish soap and water. Rinse it thoroughly, and look at it. Your pot is clean. Not just cleaner, clean. One thing you should never do during this process is use metal scrubbers or steel wool even after the baking soda treatment. They scratch the surface and create tiny grooves where food bonds even more aggressively in the future. Always use soft sponges or wooden tools. Thousands of people who have discovered this method describe the exact same moment of shock. They are standing at the sink after 15 minutes of simmering, and the burnt food that they thought had permanently destroyed their favorite pot is just sliding off. One woman who had a rice cooker pot with 18 months of built-up burnt residue reported that 2 rounds of this method left it looking almost new. A home cook who had essentially given up on a $180 stainless steel saucepan and was about to throw it away tried this method as a last resort. After one treatment, the pan was completely restored. He calculated that he had saved himself $180 on a replacement, plus the $15 bottles of cleaner he had been buying every month. That is real money. Results from this method are not temporary. Because you are actually removing the burnt material rather than just coating over it or masking it, the results are permanent. The surface of your cookware is genuinely restored. Pots and pans treated this way regularly actually last significantly longer, because you are not subjecting them to harsh chemical cleaners or aggressive scrubbing that wears down the surface over time. There is a reason this information does not appear in cleaning product advertisements. There's a reason the big brands spend millions every year making sure their expensive sprays and foams are the first thing you think of when you have a cleaning problem. Because if you knew this, you would never buy their products again, and now you know. Share this with someone who has a burnt pot sitting in their kitchen right now, because I promise you they need to see this. Hit the like button, because it genuinely helps this kind of real useful information reach people who need it instead of getting buried by sponsored content from the exact companies we just talked about. Subscribe, because next week I'm going to reveal another secret that the home appliance industry has spent years trying to keep off the internet, and you do not want to miss it. And here's your final shocking tip. Baking soda is not just for burnt pots. A thin paste of baking soda and water applied to the outside of your pots and pans and left for 20 minutes removes years of grease buildup, discoloration, and staining from the exterior surfaces too. Your cookware can look completely new again, inside and out. For $1, you have the knowledge now, use it. Stop giving your money to companies that have been profiting from a problem they knew had a simple solution all along. Your kitchen, your cookware, and your wallet are all going to thank you.